Decision tree is a type of tree structured model for classification. It is perhaps the most widely used classification technique. It's built using an approach called recursive partitioning, also known as divide and conquer. It breaks down a dataset into smaller and smaller subsets until the subsets are sufficiently homogeneous or a stopping criterion has been reached. Okay, if you are not fully clear on all these points, come back to the slide once we have seen the example. These are the steps in a decision tree algorithm. So we'll look at the steps along with the example. This is a famous classification problem in the world of machine learning, the Titanic survival prediction. So, only some people survived the Titanic. Now we have the data of all the passengers. Now we look back to see what are the chances of survival based on the data. What are the chances that a passenger will survive based on his data? Now, if someone gives you a list of passengers on board the Titanic and asks you to predict whether they survive or not, you would just be doing a guess since you do not know what could contribute to a passenger surviving. So it's just a 50-50 guess. Now, any classification model you build is compared against this 50-50 model, meaning how better your model is when compared to random guessing. Now this algorithm, it first chooses a feature that is most predictive of the target class and uses it for splitting the data. Meaning, it chooses that variable which has the highest impact on the final outcome and does the first split on it. So in our example, we find gender is the most significant predictor. This is the first split on gender. So you can see once we split on gender, a clear demarcation is seen. Chance of a female surviving is 72%, chance of a male surviving is 17%. Now I give you the same data set and ask you to predict. So you will predict now that all females have survived and all males have not survived. So this is one step ahead of random guessing. In fact, if in my data set there are 100 males and 100 females, so I predict all 100 females to have survived, then I am right 72 times. Similarly, I predict all 100 males not to have survived, then I am right 83 times. So out of the total 200 passengers, I am right 83 plus 72, 155 times. A 77.5% accuracy. Not bad at all, with the knowledge of just one parameter. Yeah, now the algorithm continues to divide, choosing the best candidate feature each time to create another decision node. So as you can see, females are further split based on their socio-economic status. And those with status less than 3 have a 93% survival rate. So I can declare that there is a 93% chance of females with socio-economic status less than 3 surviving. You can also see that a male with less than 8.5 years having less than 4 siblings has a 72% chance of survival. Okay, please note the independent variables can either be continuous or categorical in a decision tree algorithm, unlike the KNN. So in KNN, all independent variables have to be continuous as it is based on distance calculation. So there we use the process of dummy coding to convert categorical to numeric variables. But decision tree does not require any such conversions. As you can see, gender is a categorical variable and age is a continuous variable, which it has split by choosing a certain point, 8.5 years. Okay, so now how does the algorithm determine which is the best split at each level? So there are different versions, different implementations of the same algorithm available, each having a different criteria. So one such implementation uses something called entropy to identify the best feature on which to split. The model tries to find a split that minimizes the entropy. Okay, so when is the entropy maximum and minimum? So entropy is the least when the node contains observations from one class only. A node contains observation from one class only, then the entropy is least. It is the highest when it contains equal observations from both classes. Okay, now when I give you the dataset now, you will apply all these rules. You classify all females with socioeconomic status less than 3 as survived. All females with socioeconomic status 3 and FAIR greater than 23.25 as not survived. and less than 23.25 has survived. Okay, now you may see here that this is only 56%. So can I say everyone has survived? So it does not matter. So once we reach the final node, we predict all items to be that of the majority class. Majority meaning if it is greater than 50%, we predict the majority class. So similarly, you create the rules for all other nodes and then you do your prediction. So that is how a decision tree works. Okay. So there are a few other criteria as well to determine the best split, which other implementations used, some of which are Gini index, chi-square statistic, gain ratio, etc. The algorithm stops when one of these criteria is met. So almost all samples at the node have the same class. So we see here, right, it's stopped at 93%, while the tree continues to grow from other nodes. The next one, there are no remaining features to distinguish the examples. All independent variables have been used to build the tree. So please note, the tree could stop when it has done a good classification, even without using all the variables. Some variables are not really necessary for doing the prediction. Another case is when the tree has grown to a predefined size limit. So we can set a limit on the number of nodes before we start to build the model. Okay, pros and cons. We have a whole lot of pros for a decision tree. It's an all-purpose classifier that does well on most problems. It can handle both the numerical and categorical data, as we just saw. It can handle missing data. You need not perform any special operations to handle missing data. It excludes unimportant features. It is easy to interpret. So if you use this model, you can justify based on what reasons you decided, say, to reject a loan application, or based on what criteria you decided a person has cancer. How did you identify a transaction is fraudulent, etc. Most of the models just give you the prediction, but you may not know why it has come to that conclusion. Only decision tree produces a clear, interpretable rules. In fact, this happened to my friend when he attempted to create an account in Uber. It did not allow him to, saying it was a suspicious phone number. So when he contacted customer care, they mentioned that the system automatically detects suspicious phone numbers and blocks them. But they were unaware of on what basis his number was tagged as suspicious. Now, for certain industries like finance and banking, the law mandates that a reason should be given for rejection. So in such a cases, decision tree is your only viable option to do the classification. On the con side, there is a high chance of overfitting, and small changes in training data can result in large changes to decision logic.